And to what do I owe the pleasure of the traveler coming to visit my abode? I highly doubt that. I certainly haven't seen your name in the logbooks for ode finds. Is that so? After all our time spent together, do you truly take me for such a fool? Beidou didn't send you to deliver her payments. She hasn't racked up nearly enough fines since the last time she paid for her transgressions, and besides that, she prefers to hand over the money to Ganyu. Rather than wasteful apologies, why don't we just be frank with one another? What really brings you to the Jade Chamber, and why all this pretense around it? Anyone you heard that from is far less important than you. Appointments with the Tianquan are hard to come by for the average merchant and dignitary, it is true. But for such a valued business partner, no, I cannot face you inside the very chamber you helped restore and speak as though you are anything less than a friend. My time is expensive, but you have more than paid a fair price. Perhaps you have forgotten my open invite to join me for tea. That is understandable. I imagine by now nearly every nation in Tevat seeks to honor you as a special guest of the state, and it was some years ago now that I made the offer. Truth be told, I was already planning to send a messenger to renew the invitation once I heard you were visiting the harbor. But it seems your waypoint works faster. How could I not know you returned? Can you think of anything more exciting to the children of the harbor than playing pirate with the world-famous traveler? Your flattery is charming, but wasted. Even if it were true, the children are hardly going to report seeing me as news to me. Let's cut to the chase. If you came here to see me, but felt you needed to invent a reason to justify the visit, then you must not have come with any pressing issues to discuss. At the very least, there is nothing you wish to say that you think I am not already aware of. Correct? Then you found yourself with a rare pocket of free time, and wish to share the fortune with me. I am, of course, honored to accept. In return, might I offer some fine tea and desserts to enjoy over a game? Wonderful. I have a fresh pot already waiting, kept hot thanks to a marvelous device gifted to the Jade Chamber by the Adepti. You are familiar with my game of choice, Liyue Millennial, yes? The version you saw in the marketplace is actually just the 8th version. It uses the simplest rules, which is why it is the one I made available to the public. Behind closed doors, I've long continued to iterate on the game's core rulebook, adding in layers of complexity to suit my desire for a compelling challenge. It has advanced quite a bit since version 8. This is the current edition, version 32.6. Be careful, the book is heavy. No need to be polite. I can see it in your eyes. You're overwhelmed. That's all right. I still have the marketed version handy for precisely this reason. Only the rules have changed, not the board, so it's an easy thing to turn back to version 8. This is a custom gaming table. If you open the drawer to your right, you'll find all you need. I'm glad you appreciate them. All of my dice are hand-carved of fine materials, but that set is one of my favorites. It is made of Noctilicus jade, and it glows in low lighting. Only the brightest, clearest samples were chosen for this set, and then an artisan of extraordinary skill was found to do the carving. Dice are one of the most unforgiving of trinkets, you see. With any other small sculpture, mistakes and irregularities can be incorporated into the design, leaving a piece of the artist inside. But in dice, every face must be precisely cut to match the others. Even a single gram of unbalance to one side can render the entire piece weighted, and thus useless in a fair game. As a consequence, the sets I have here are some of the rarest pieces ever made. No need to look so alarmed. Precious though they may be, they aren't made of paper. Pull out the central drawer there. It is supposed to be empty. You will note the body of the drawer is lined in soft velvet with 3 divided compartments. This is a special rolling tray I had commissioned so that my gemstone dice could safely be rolled without damage. The 3 separated compartments allow you to roll up to 3 dice at once without risking them colliding and chipping themselves, while the velvet cushions the roll to protect the dice from the hardwood surface. It is indeed. All of the highest numbers on each of my dice sets are marked with an image of a Mora coin. The images and the numbers are marked in fine gold leaf, hand-laid by the same artisan who carved them. In the case of the dice you are currently holding, that gold was then dusted with a bioluminescent rosin, so that the backlighting of the jade's glow and dark light would not obscure the beauty of the number detailing. Of course. Liyue Millennial is a dear creation of mine. It would simply be incomplete if I invested in the craftsmanship of its theory, but neglected the craftsmanship of its physical form. The same can be said for these models on the game board. They are hand-carved, hand-painted, and hand-dusted on a daily basis. Each piece is worth one of my secretary's monthly salaries. Certainly. It would be challenging for you to play the game without touching them. You must move your pieces across the board, after all. Don't worry about that. Their beauty is sturdier than that of the gemstone dice. You will find they are quite heavy, made of a hard, dense material that is easy to polish and not prone to scratching. A hero so well-traveled as you has undoubtedly seen much finery. That my collection can still capture your awe is a point of pride for me. In truth, I did consider revising the rules of Liyue Millennial after releasing to market. Despite my assessment, version 8 proved too complicated for the average player, and even among hobbyists the reviews were mixed. But, despite this, the sales numbers never dipped, and in fact there was something of a surge a few months after release. Ultimately, I had to go into the marketplace myself to discern what it was that had captured the customer base so well, when the actual function of the product was nebulous. No. Although my involvement in the project certainly held some weight, those who would buy the game simply because I had produced it would have done so on its release. A spike after a few months shows people who hadn't originally budgeted for the project had their minds changed after release. It wasn't until I visited a shop which had the board on display that I came to understand. I'd chosen a few retailers to carry the game, but this one by far outsold them all. They had the board and all of its models laid out on a display table in the very center of the shop for all to see. My visit was fairly short, merely 15 minutes, but in that time, I watched as over 20 different customers fawned over the beautiful models of our beloved harbor, their eyes alight with wonder and awe. Most of them inquired the price on the spot, and those who could afford to pay it bought it in an instant, without so much as a glance at the rules. It would seem that to many of Liyue's citizens, the public version of Liyue Millennial is less a game to play, and more an intricate piece of three-dimensional art venerating their home. Oh, I'm quite content with this outcome. Sometimes we set out with a specific intention for a venture, only to be surprised when reality completely transforms it into something beyond our imaginations. I have always found that one's ability to accept those transformed realities and incorporate them into the path to achieving their goals is what separates victors from losers. Of course, there are some unexpected factors that arise which cannot serve your goals, and which are true obstacles. But panicking at their arrival rather than adapting and finding new workarounds will leave you devastated and destitute. The true secret to success is challenging yourself to find a way to it no matter what you encounter along the way. People will tell you that you must be confident before you can do this, but it is actually vice versa. Pulling yourself out of a few impossible scenarios simply by refusing to stop will quickly teach you that you can get through anything. And that is the truest form of confidence there is. I could certainly talk strategy and business all night. But while our tea is still hot and our game board is set, I think it best to demonstrate instead. Let's see how you apply your own strategic instincts to our game, I'll let you roll first.